I don't fat shame women because you can't judge a book by its cover. Of course, it's too damn thick, nobody's gonna read it.
Country music's darkest chapter isn't about heartbreak ballads. It's about real bloodshed. From country bar murders to drug gang ties, from jealous lovers to hired assassins, these 20 crimes shocked Nashville and shattered the American dream. Here are the true stories that proved music's spotlight hides deadly secrets. Number 20. Spade Cooley, the king of Western swing, was famous.
Who killed the goose that laid the golden egg? Who killed it? Yes, who killed it?
His fiddle made dancers move. His complex music parts were dramatically different. He packed dance halls across the West Coast. But behind the stage lights, in his Bakersfield home, Spade Cooley was a monster. His marriage to Kitty Dawn was tense and falling apart. Jealousy consumed him. On April 3, 1961, Spade's rage reached a breaking point. He attacked his wife with brutal violence. He beat her. He stomped on her. He strangled her. Their teenage daughter hid in terror, watching her father destroy her mother. Kitty couldn't escape the assault. She died from injuries caused by the man she'd married. The body exam showed the brutality: crushed ribs, a shattered skull, internal injuries guaranteed to cause death. Spade Cooley was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. After spending 8 years, he was granted early release. On November 14, 1975, minutes after performing a benefit concert, Spade suffered a heart attack and died in his cell. The king of Western swing was reduced to a prisoner, his fame forever ruined by the memory of the wife he murdered. Number 19, Johnny Paycheck was an outlaw. His 1977 hit, "Take This Job and Shove It,"
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
became a song for working-class defiance. Fans loved his attitude, but his rebellion would eventually spill from the stage into real violence. The North High Lounge in Hillsboro, Ohio, was a typical bar on a typical December night in 1985. A dispute grew between Paycheck and a customer named Larry Wise. The specifics varied. Some accounts mentioned deer meat, others mentioned jerky, still others suggested a personal insult. Tension grew rapidly from words to something far more dangerous. Paycheck pulled out a .22 pistol. He fired. The bullet struck Larry Wise in the head. Surprisingly, it only barely scratched his head. Paycheck claimed self-defense. A jury heard the evidence differently. They found Paycheck guilty of serious attack and sentenced him to 7 to 10 years in prison. He served 22 months, kicked alcohol in prison, and wrote Cell Block Blues. A governor's pardon eventually cleared his record. But the barroom shooting never left him. It fixed his image as an outlaw, not in the romantic sense, but as someone who had actually committed a crime, who had actually fired a weapon, who had actually served time for it. Number 18. Merle Haggard was a minor thief with no future.
He and his mother kept it away from me for a long time and only...
Growing up in Bakersfield during the Depression era, he experienced poverty, unpredictability, and a disorderly family situation. By his teenage years, he was already in trouble. On Christmas Eve 1957, young Merle, just 20 years old, was involved in a failed bar robbery. Caught almost immediately and found guilty, Merle Haggard was sentenced to California's notorious prison, San Quentin State Prison. But something happened inside San Quentin's walls that would change everything. Merle was working in the prison laundry when Johnny Cash came to perform his legendary concert on January 13, 1968. Cash's performance was a discovery. It showed Merle that a person with a criminal record could still become someone important, someone admired, someone with a voice that mattered. Merle made a strong promise that night. He was going to change. He studied. He learned welding. He wrote songs, lots of songs. After spending nearly 3 years, Merle Haggard was released from San Quentin. The prison time had forged something remarkable in him. When he finally recorded the songs he'd written inside prison, they connected with people because the emotion was real. Mama Tried became a song about a mother's useless attempts to keep her son from crime. His turnaround became country music's favorite comeback story. Number 17. Billy Joe Shaver was a songwriter's songwriter. Live Forever became a Willie Nelson classic.
I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river.
I'm Just an Old Chunk of Coal
I'm just an old chunk of coal.
became a John Anderson hit. But Billy Joe Shaver was also a man with a temper, a man who lived the rebellious way of living that many country musicians only sang about. In a Waco area saloon, Shaver sat nursing a drink beside a local drinker named Billy Coker. Words flew between them. The conversation grew worse. Tempers rose. A knife flashed. Then came the gunshot. Billy Joe Shaver reportedly asked, "Where do you want it?" before firing a .22 caliber pistol, striking Coker in the cheek. The wound was not deadly, but was severe. Police arrived. Shaver was arrested and charged with serious attack. He faced 20 years in prison. At trial, Shaver testified that Coker had threatened him first, that he feared for his safety. Willie Nelson showed up in court to support his friend. The jury listened. After just 2 hours of discussion, they reached a verdict, not guilty. But the shooting followed him like cigarette smoke. Singer Dale Watson later made famous the incident in a song called "Where Do You Want It?" Though officially found innocent, Billy Joe Shaver could never fully escape the knowledge that he had shot a man. Number 16. Waylon Jennings was an outlaw who would not follow Nashville's business rules.
Congratulate you on doing one terrific job.
Well, thank you. I had a good time. It took 3 years.
His music was raw, his attitude was rebellious, drug use was part of his lifestyle. In 1977, Waylon was in a Nashville recording studio working on material for his next album. Then federal agents burst through the doors. The DEA was conducting a raid. The raid was caused by an investigation into Waylon's drummer, who had reportedly received Colombian cocaine mailed from the recording studio. As agents searched the premises, Waylon reportedly quickly threw away most of the hidden drugs down a toilet, a desperate act to destroy evidence. But the flushing happened before agents could record what was ruined. Evidence disappeared. The case grew complicated. Jennings was charged with possession and conspiracy. But the sloppiness of the paperwork ultimately ruined the prosecution's case. The charges were dropped. Waylon Jennings walked free. But the bust changed something in him. He wrote, "Don't you think this outlaw bit's done got out of hand?" An honest song about himself that acknowledged the cost that the outlaw lifestyle was taking on him. The song became a huge hit, selling millions of copies. Number 15. Johnny Cash was the man in black.
I think the first time I knew what I wanted to do with my life was when I was about 4 years old.
Popular for wearing dark clothes as a symbol of support for the poor. But those dark clothes also hid a deep struggle with reliance on legal drugs. Speed and sleeping pills were his drug of choice. On October 4th, 1965, Johnny Cash was traveling through El Paso, Texas. Customs agents at the airport were conducting regular checks. When Cash's luggage was opened, they found something shocking: 1,163 speed and sleeping pill tablets hidden in his guitar case. The number was unbelievable. Cash was held, he was arrested, he spent a night in jail. The headlines were devastating. Country star arrested for drug smuggling. He paid a $1,000 fine and received a delayed 30-day jail time. But the emotional and moral damage were far more severe. The arrest was a wake-up call. Cash threw the pills in the Rio Grande River. From that point forward, he focused himself on gospel music. He performed at Folsom Prison and later at San Quentin, concerts that would become legendary. The Man in Black's arrest became a critical moment. It exposed his weakness, his humanity, his struggle with demons that fame couldn't ease. Number 14. Mindy McCready had talent.
Don't touch me, please don't touch me. Please don't touch my mommy.
Her early hits showed promise, but potential doesn't guarantee success. At age 28, Mindy faked a prescription for OxyContin. She was caught. Instead of moving on, she gathered more illegal acts: DUI charges, fights with her mother, probation violations. Each violation led to more legal trouble. Each arrest was more public than the last. Gossip papers enjoyed every mugshot, every headline. The violations multiplied alongside battles with reliance on drugs and abuse in the home. Mindy was caught in a cycle that seemed impossible to break. Arrest, jail time, release, violation, more jail time. She attempted comebacks, but every attempt was weakened by the weight of her legal troubles. Her personal relationships fell apart. Abuse in the home entered the picture. She experienced the kind of chaos that comes with untreated reliance on drugs. On February 17, 2013, Mindy McCready ended her life. She was 37 years old. Her death was ruled a suicide. Mindy McCready's case is a sad study in how a single bad decision, untreated reliance on drugs, and public shaming can grow into disaster. Number 13. Ty Herndon was rising fast.
It was very important. I could sing it since I was 2 years old, but listening and choosing great songs.
The country singer had talent, charisma, and the kind of good looks that radio programmers loved. His career was growing quickly. Then, on a summer morning in 1995 in Fort Worth's Gateway Park, everything changed. Hidden cops arrested Ty Herndon for indecent exposure. The charge was shaming and severe. They also found methamphetamine in his possession. A drug charge, a morality charge, both landed in the arrest report. The timing was devastating. Just 90 minutes before he was supposed to perform at a police convention. The indecent exposure charge was eventually dropped. Herndon pleaded guilty to drug possession, entered rehab, and served probation. But something unexpected happened. Rather than destroying his career, the incident became a cause for being real. Years later, Herndon became one of the first major male country artists to come out as gay. He credited the 1995 arrest for forcing personal honesty, for removing the false front he had been maintaining. Herndon's openness transformed what had started as a career-threatening scandal into a comeback story. Number 12. Hank Williams Jr. was a complex reputation.
I won't even be able to walk out on. They're going to think, boy, that poor guy is old. He can't even walk to the mic.
By 2006, he was an established artist in his own right. He also had a complex personal life. At Memphis's fancy Peabody Hotel, a 19-year-old waitress reported a serious incident. According to her account, Williams Jr. grabbed her. She said he asked for a kiss. She said he lifted her in a chokehold. The claims were serious: assault, unwanted sexual conduct, abuse of power over someone younger, and in a lower rank. Williams Jr. was arrested. He denied the claims. He claimed they were false, motivated by money. Eventually, prosecutors dropped the case. The decision was based on lack of evidence. Without sufficient proof, the charges were dismissed. Williams Jr. was officially found innocent, but the claim remained in tabloids and in public memory. Even though he was officially justified, the incident had cost him sponsorship agreements and public appearances. It served as a warning that even unproven accusations can leave lasting marks on a public image. Number 11. Randy Travis was the voice of traditional country.
That saves the ranch.
Forever and Ever Amen was one of country music's most loved songs. Travis represented stability, family values, and the best of what country music could be. Then, on one summer night in 2012, all of that changed in a single moment. A passerby in Tioga, Texas, dialed 911. They reported seeing a wrecked Trans Am and a man lying, stretched out naked on the highway. Emergency responders arrived to find Randy Travis, the country music legend, completely naked, extremely drunk. Police attempted to interact with him. Rather than helping, rather than agreeing to a breathalyzer test, Randy Travis became aggressive. He threatened the officers. According to police reports, he told them he would shoot and kill them. The threats grew worse. More officers arrived. The situation became increasingly tense. Randy Travis was arrested. He was charged with DWI and serious crime of revenge. He received probation rather than prison time. Fines were put in place. A required alcohol recovery plan was ordered. But then something tragic happened. Months after the DWI arrest, Randy Travis suffered a huge stroke. The stroke was shocking. It affected his ability to speak, to move, to function. Today, he speaks with difficulty, but continues to make occasional appearances in the country music community. Number 10. Glenn Campbell was 70.
6'6", he stood on the ground, weighed 225 pounds.
When he crashed his BMW into another car near his Phoenix home. Police arrived at the scene. They tested Glenn Campbell. His blood alcohol level was nearly triple the legal limit. He was driving while extremely drunk. The charge was extreme DUI. Glenn Campbell was arrested. Mugshot photos spread. The Rhinestone Cowboy was now a person accused of a crime. At trial, Glenn Campbell faced major penalties, but the court showed kindness. Campbell received jail time, 10 nights in Phoenix's jail, but it was less severe than he might have faced. During his 10 nights in jail, Glenn Campbell did something remarkable. He sang. He gathered fellow inmates and led them in singing without music of Rhinestone Cowboy. After release, Glenn Campbell completed his community service and entered an alcohol recovery program. Later, he released a gospel album titled Testimony. But the arrest also exposed something more troubling. Glenn Campbell had been found to have Alzheimer's disease. Over the following years, his condition worsened, yet he continued to appear at industry events. His story became a warning story about aging in the entertainment industry, about the dangers of substance abuse, and about the possibility of being saved. Number 9. Willie Nelson was the biggest rebel.
I traveled around singing in other places, in London and France and different.
On November 26, 2010, Willie Nelson's tour bus crossed the border near Sierra Blanca, Texas. Border agents were conducting regular checks. They opened the bus door and smelled something clear: marijuana. The smell was obvious. A search revealed 6 ounces of cannabis. The quantity was large enough to trigger levels for a serious crime. Willie Nelson, the outlaw legend, had been caught with enough marijuana to face serious legal trouble. Willie was arrested. The charges were serious. But something unexpected happened. A supportive local prosecutor in Texas made a decision: reduce the charges from serious crime to minor offense for drug tools. The reduction was remarkable. Willie paid a fine. The case was closed. He avoided prison time. He avoided serious crime conviction. Willie's response was typically disrespectful. He joked about starting a teapot party. More importantly, he fought harder on legalization activism. Over the next decade, Willie Nelson watched as state after state made legal marijuana. He watched as Colorado and Washington led the way. Willie had been proven right. The laws had been wrong. He had been right all along. The border bust became a late career badge of honor. Number 8. Chris Young was rising through the ranks.
I don't know, because I think, when you talk about albums, everybody always uses...
He had chart, success. He had radio support. He had a growing fan base. Then, during a regular alcohol check, state agents were at a Nashville bar. According to official reports, agents claimed that Young blocked their exit. According to police, Young struck an officer during the interaction. The charges were serious: blocking justice, potentially assault on an officer. Chris Young was arrested. The headlines were immediate and damaging. Legal bills grew. Uncertainty loomed. But then security footage emerged. Dashcam video and surveillance footage told a different story than what police had reported. The footage showed minimal contact between Young and the officer. Prosecutors reviewed the footage. The decision was made: drop all charges. Chris Young was cleared. Rather than simply moving on, Young used the difficult experience to fight for clear body camera rules. He became a supporter of major change, for clear rules in law enforcement, for supporting those who couldn't afford to fight back. Young's response transformed what could have been a career disaster into an opportunity to do good. Number 7. Allan Coe.
Now, before I came on stage tonight, a young lady walked up to me backstage and she said, "I heard a record on the radio today coming in."
Lived the rebellious way of living long before it became popular. He was locked up as a child. He spent years in reform school. His adult life was a blur of armed robbery, car theft, breaking in, and repeated prison sentences. His criminal record was extensive and clear. But Allan Coe also had a gift. He could write songs. He could play guitar. He could express true emotion through music. While in solitary confinement, he taught himself to play better. He vowed he would get rich legally or die trying. When he was released early in 1967, he was determined to pursue music. He literally lived in a hearse parked outside the Ryman Auditorium. Eventually, Nashville let him in. He began performing in clubs. His criminal past became his greatest asset. Songs like If That Ain't Country used to their advantage his real rebel trustworthiness. Fans knew that Coe wasn't playing a character. He was living his autobiography. Allan Coe proved that a person could transform their life, could escape from a criminal past, could build something meaningful through art and determination. Number 6. Jaime Johnson.
I could tell she was leaving.
A growing conservative artist, found himself facing serious crime accusations in 2024 for something that was becoming legal across America. The incident began with a regular traffic stop south of Nashville. Johnson was doing 87 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. Troopers pulled him over. They smelled cannabis. A search revealed several bags of marijuana plus pre-rolled joints, enough to trigger a serious crime charge for possession with intent to sell. The charge was shocking. Tennessee's harsh marijuana laws seemed increasingly out of step with a nation moving toward legalization. Many states had removed criminal status or fully made legal cannabis. Yet Tennessee remained strict. Johnson paid bond to get out of jail. He hired lawyers. He prepared for court. The case raised questions throughout the country music community about whether a straight-shooting country artist should face serious crime accusations for something becoming acceptable. What was certain was that the legal bills would be large. The stress would be significant. Number 1. Darius Rucker.
Make relationships and do things the right way and make great songs or you don't have a career.
One of country music's most loved artists, faced charges in 2024 after a regular traffic stop in Franklin, Tennessee. Police discovered unauthorized gray-purple pills, confirmed as psilocybin and a THC vape pen. He took an 11-month probation deal with record cleared after finishing upon completion. Rucker called the episode embarrassing, but used it as an opportunity to fight for equal drug rules. His handling demonstrated wisdom and grace. If this video moved you, hit like and subscribe for more untold Nashville stories. Drop a comment with your thoughts. Which crime affected you most? Share this with someone who needs to hear the truth behind the glamour.